Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Welcome once again to the Shlicketty cast. Oh my gosh, you made it back again. Oh, wait, gravity. Oh. Mike's gonna be mad at me. I keep breaking shit around here. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I'm Aaron Forsyth. And guess who's here? Doorbell's ringing. There he is, showing up to save the day. It's Mike. Yeah. How come superheroes never came out of a garage door?
I know, right?
They always come out of phone booths. The phone booth was the thing. It's never a garage door. Oh, well.
It'd make more sense if they just came out of the closet, just because that's where they keep their clothes.
Right, yeah. They're
Metaphors and all.
Ooh, wow. So everyone tune back into the old Shlickety doop. Mike, I don't know. We got people watching, I think. I don't know. Why I don't know. Why you like us. Why you hate us. I don't know. Why you like us. What's wrong with you? What are we doing here? But we're thankful.
They come for the hang.
They come for the hang. That's what I was saying. Let's just make a podcast where we just hang out like old buddies, like we used to do, punch each other in the arm, sit on the couch, talk about shit that don't matter. And even if it does matter, we don't know what we're talking about. Sometimes we do. You do. You're smarter than me, but
Sometimes.
Yeah. But that's half the fun. You know, we're shooting the shit. We're just hanging out. But somehow we got caught up in some cosmic algorithm. I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm like, hey, listen to our podcast. Listen to our show every morning. And I'm on the internet doing my schlick. And yeah, I'm pretty sure my Facebook feed is annoyed with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, you know, you always, like, I try to offset it. You know, you go, oh, I'm going to post a picture of my dog in diapers. Oh, I'm going to talk, you know, I stopped that with even the comedy gigs. I'm doing comedy gigs and not even mentioning it to the feed because it's kind of like, what am I going to do? You know, you're preaching to the choir. There's a point, like, I noticed that when I was a musician. I could post a new picture of my face or a picture of my dog, and I get 150 hits. Mm-hmm. You post a new song that you busted your ass off and you're proud of, you know?
Well, because
it's like, it's haterade, man.
It's subjective. It's art, you know?
Yeah,
What?
but you'd think the art would get like everyone would go, oh, I don't like the song, but I'll give him a like because we know what he's here for. He's here for the old
you know what
rub and tug.
You know what the thing is? I think with the marketing, with the release of the song, you need to put it out with a story about it, about how it means something to you.
Oh, well, is that like American Idol when they put the story of I overcame Graves' disease and I'm allergic to fucking chicken broth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not so much, you know, the life's obstacles you've overcome. Which have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about framing your life in that way?
Oh yeah, like those sob stories before the AGT. Yeah, I always thought I don't really have much other than I could say I was a single dad or Graves' disease is about all I got.
No, but you had the crushing loss of your parent. You know, all this sort of stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. His 2012 Hyundai is making racket. All the lights were on.
I mean, it's just like regular life, but if you look at it a certain way, you know, it's a dramatic story of how you got here, story of survival, you know, whatever.
Yeah, they're playing some quiet, heard it from a friend who. They're playing some REO Speedwagon music. And it's like me driving in the.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we just get B-roll footage.
Yeah, me in slow motion with my hair blowing in the wind, all the lights on my dashboard on. Ding, 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 ding.
Just driving by the mechanics waving.
Yeah.
See you later. What's it crap?
Don't mind the smoke. Don't worry about the smoke. The
That's
wheel's fine. The wheel's fine. I'm driving with the boot on.
Back to smoke.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, well, so we're doing what we can, but I'm glad everyone's tuning in. It's cool. We're having a good time. Hey, and you notice it's nice and quiet today. We don't have any noisy neighbors. The building was dark when we came in today, Mike.
It was.
Yeah.
Dark and silent like a tomb. If you guys want, tell us down in the comments, and we'll do one of these nights. We'll bring the infrared camera, and we'll do a ghost hunt here in the rehearsal building.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone's died in here. It was an old print shop, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if old, Yeah.
There's nothing here.
Mort Saul from 1924 got his necktie caught in a printing press and smashed his skull.
Mort Saul.
Mort Saul in 1919. Like, ugh.
Is that a guy?
I don't know.
He's a
Morty
comedian.
Saul.
I think he's a comedian. It's one of
I
those
don't know.
Marshmallow
Yeah,
comedians.
Morty. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any more Mortys. Do kids name their or parents name their kids Morty anymore?
No, they
There's
should.
no Walters or Mortys or
Because the sort of insufferable names that they're coming up with are just making me nuts anymore.
yeah. How many Connors do we need? How many Chads are out there? How many? All those dorky names
Jackson
from the
with an
80s.
X.
Oh yeah, jeez, yeah, and I mean, who knows what's happening now with even the younger generation? But I think the old retro names are coming back in the female sense. But I don't think you're going to get there's not going to be any more Mauds or Beatrices.
No, those are sort of those are that's kind of a long shot.
Maud. Hey,
But
it's my daughter Maud.
Same thing with the Mort. Like you're not
Mort.
gonna get a Mortimer coming around.
Yeah, no more Mortimers. I think the day of the Mortimer's gone.
Like in the way that if you ever find yourself in a Civil War graveyard or something.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Man, they got names that just aren't around anymore
Yeah, creepy.
at all.
I know.
Yeah. I can't think of any at the moment, but
I know.
everybody knows. Like, what was the Simpsons joke was like, oh, there was a Civil War battle fought here around Springfield. Everyone named Jebediah perished. Or something.
Yeah, Jebediah. Yeah, there's a lot of Jebediahs
Yeah, not anymore.
and Ezekiels.
Yeah, they all snuffed it in the Civil War. Yeah, and Morty's is Morty's is definitely like your grandfather's.
His name was Edgar.
Right.
And guess
right.
what his middle name was? Rutherford. Edgar Rutherford.
That's it right there, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be Edgar. Well, I mean Eddie, but
No,
Edgar.
but still, yeah.
Edgar's kind of a cool name. That could make a comeback. I could see Edgar. And Rutherford would be
But
kind of
what?
cool.
When you think about it, you never actually heard anybody like shorten up Edgar. I mean, Eddie. I guess you'd have to call him Eddie. That's about
Yeah,
it.
his friends called him Eddie.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was either Eddie or Edgar. But we all knew him as Edgar.
Yeah, we always just called him Edgar.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Grandpa Edgar. 'Cause he thought we were loony. He thought we were nuts.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, it was the 80s. Keep in mind, he's an old guy. He's driving us around. And then here we
We
come
all
in,
got leather jackets, long hair.
and sometimes we tease it up because, the glam thing was starting to come around. So we look like angry cross-dressers. And, spandex on, snakeskin spandex. I remember him taking me to the... Now, this is like 1984.
He was like a short little guy.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being over your house and we'd be leaving. He's like this, and
Oh,
you're like
yeah.
towering over him, and
Yeah.
he's like, you're not going out like that. The jeans are ripped, the knees
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, I look like a bear attack. Your jeans have holes in them.
He'd be like handing you $5. Get yourself some new
Yeah.
pants, or dungarees or whatever,
The look on his face once when I had him take me to the dance studio, like a dance studio, to get spandex. And I was like, I called ahead. I think they have them. And I was going to buy snakeskin spandex.
Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah.
And he
Did you end up
goes,
getting some leopard
You're going to
ones?
get what?
Did you get leopard ones or something?
Yeah, I got there and they were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the things he saw.
That was early on, man.
Yeah, that was in the 80s. And
That was
just the
early
way-
80s, like 83, 84.
Yeah, he was blown away by ear piercings. So, for us to grow our hair and have leather jackets and then just, he'd be like, oh my God, I thought I seen it all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my parents were 10 years older than everybody else's parents because my parents were in their 30s before they had kids.
Yeah.
So they didn't get it either. They like graduated like 58 from high school. You know what I mean? They were like 50s, like, happy days people.
Yeah, your mom and dad, they seemed like older version, but you could tell they were
weren't that
singing
sort
along
of-
with Grease.
Because I remember asking my mom when I was a kid, I was like, Mom, did you like freak out when the Beatles came over here? She's like, that's 64. I was 24 by then. She's like, she was a principal of an elementary school.
So she was way beyond the screaming phase.
Yeah, she was way beyond the whole, like, they weren't of the generation that most of my friends' parents were, which is that sort of, they grew up in the 50s
Yeah.
and then they did the 60s music and all that sort of stuff.
So yes, she was beyond the poodle skirt.
No, she was straight up in the poodle skirt area.
The poodle skirt, yeah. The Olivia Newton-John poodle skirt.
Yeah, because that's the straight up 50s.
Yeah, true. And I can see your dad, Butch, he was kind of like the old greaser. He definitely had a comb in his pocket and his smokes rolled up in his sleeve.
Smokes rolled up in the sleeve, 100%. Yeah,
I think I've seen him with smokes that is rolled up in his sleeve.
Yeah. There was like an old photo of him or something like that with the hair grease. Yeah, he definitely looked like he was up to no good.
Yeah, real crumbo.
Ne'er do well.
Yeah, I know. I always think of that, like, so then when I, like, shoot ahead, now I'm a parent, you know, my kid, are through the years, you know, she's done some wacky hair colors and weird things, you know, and I go,
yeah,
but then I think,
your daughter's also shockingly artistic.
Yes, yeah. And anything goes for kids nowadays. So I try to put myself in the position of when my parents seeing me and my brother being in 80s hair bands.
Well, that, you know, honestly,
they must have thought we were crazy.
Well, it's like you said, back in the 80s, like it was like you couldn't get jobs with long hair. I literally had people like I won't hire you with long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude at Waldemar said that to me. Like it was tough. And then if you had the earring, it was even worse. I never pierced my ear. You know. You and Jones did and stuff like that.
I let it grow in, though. I didn't do it.
No,
I had it for a short time.
Yours went bad. Yeah, you had infections.
But I do think,
But my point was, and then later with the tattoos, it all got normalized over the years to where now it's all fine.
Yeah.
But it used to be that shit would cause issues back in the day.
I know. I didn't actually get my first tattoo till I was way out of high school.
No, you didn't. No. I don't have a tattoo.
My kid, she has more tattoos probably than I do now. And she's 21, you know.
Oh, did she?
Oh, yeah. She's got her legs and she's got pretty much from the neck down.
But she kind of wants to kind of be in that field.
Yeah. But anything kind of goes once again. Anything goes. But when we were kids,
dude, I can't tell you. Sometimes I watch, like I said a couple episodes back on YouTube, I watch these cop videos. The cops are arresting people. So many of these cops are tatted up everywhere. Neck tattoos, everything.
Full on.
Everything.
Yeah, I've seen our local
The cops are all tatted up.
Sleeves.
Even the religious guys, they got like cross tattoos and like Bible saying tattoos.
That's what I'm telling you.
Like, all right. You know, it's not a thing anymore.
But is it like the
even
nurses? Sneeches?
Nurses at the hospital, same thing, yeah. You know what now?
It's pretty much the star-bellied Sneeches. Everyone, remember the Dr. Seuss story? Everyone got a star put on them.
Yeah.
And then everyone joined the star-bellied. Well, in order for them to set themselves apart, they got their stars removed. You know, so the true originals, then everyone started doing that. You know,
that game show play that I wrote, I had a character in there who made a shitload of money doing tramp stamp removals.
Yeah.
At the end of the 90s, he set himself up with a tramp stamp removal business.
Oh, the 90s were the bad.
He became the top, the best tramp stamp laser removal.
That's not a bad. Yeah.
I know, right?
Oh.
But because nobody does a tramp stamp now. But it's like everything. It's like giant thing, sleeves up the neck, writing, you know.
Oh, I know, yeah. And the tattoo explosion of the early 2000s, which is why I have sleeves, it was that.
Oh, you're right. With all the TV shows and LA Inc. and Kat Von D and all that stuff. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes, and the colorful early 2000s. That's when people started really going for it.
Well, because it started off with the Jesse James and the Monster Garage, and then the Tuttles, and then it was Poker Showdown and Bad Boys of Poker stuff, and then, tattoo shows.
Yeah. And then the neck tattoo. But see, now with the Post Malone and stuff, they're doing their faces.
Oh, the face tattoos.
Kind of weird.
Well,
that
even
to me is kind of
like, remember there was that show that they shot here in town with the rich guy who's like, I want to go in town with no money and make a
that's
business.
the Underdog Barbecue guy.
Underdog Barbecue guy. So there's a dude here in town that does the T-shirt business. He's got the jigsaw puzzle tattoo all over his face or something like that.
Oh yeah, he's a big deal around here. Yeah, good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just sort of normal these days. It's like, okay.
I know. It's kind of normalized, you know, but 20 years ago, 15 years ago, yeah.
Which means, are tattoo sideshow freaks out of jobs now?
Well, you see those ones on the internet. They're like splitting their tongues and they're turning their faces into lizards. That's wackadoo.
Yeah, that was the Jim Rose Circus sideshow stuff that they were doing. What was that, late 90s or something like that? That was
that was early. They did on Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza, yeah.
The Jim Rose sideshow. I knew a guy, a good friend of mine from Akron, Marky Ray. He was the guy who he managed Katyan and the puzzle piece guy, But Marky Ray was in the Jim Rose show. He's a good friend of mine. He was the guy that laid on the bed of nails and they whacked him with the hammer. He was the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a well-known guy in the old Akron scene, you know? Yeah, Marky Ray, good guy. I wish he would listen. I got to talk to him. He's out there. Oh, good egg. But that whole, it was probably the Lollapalooza generation on where extremities, boundaries got pushed.
Yeah.
And the boundary and the wall broke.
Well, that was the whole thing in the late 90s into the early 2000s. Extreme! You know, everything was exploding. Everything was extreme.
Oh, yeah, everything's
extreme
off the
Mountain
rails.
Dews, extreme Doritos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Extreme Taco Bell snacks.
Yeah,
It was,
Girls Gone Wild.
Oh, that's right.
Girls Gone Wild.
That was around that whole video marketing thing. Yeah, it was it was all very nutty.
I think that in hindsight of all the generations, like I always said, I always liked the late 90s to the early 2000s. Like I liked that era because technology was still happening. People had cell phones, but you still had the echoes of the old generation of the 80s and 90s, which I was from, but then this new thing was happening. So it was like this convergence of it all, and it was like this big, giant potpourri. And though we were all lacking a little identity, it was just a color fest of music and art and everything like that. And politics went crazy. Other than the 9/11 and stuff. Other than that, there wasn't really anything kooky, political wise. So it was pretty benign. It was just fun. But maybe, I don't know, is that, or do we just all look at our old lives? You know, does everyone look back?
Well, I definitely remember that
nostalgia.
time. Because like the end of the 90s when I moved out to Arizona and stuff, and I remember stuff like being at one of my jobs and like most of the computers were like monochrome monitors sort of things, you know what I mean? Old style computers, and like I literally took a PC out to like a service office and like and then like I had to manually configure it to run on the network. And
I liked also too, like cell phones were around, like as a band we were traveling.
I remember when I got out to Arizona, my boss at the video game company, he had a cell phone. It was like, woo, everybody else had a pager.
Yeah, we had leftover pagers.
I never had a pager.
I think at those years I'd have a track phone in the car, but we all would would travel without.
Oh, yeah.
With MapQuest was kind of a thing. So you could go, okay, I'm going to type my destination, print it out. Here's our printout. We're going to a gig, guys. Well, and then our 2 cars or 2 trucks.
When I drove out there in '96, I had a map book. And when I got there, my brother gave me a map book of Phoenix because he had a job doing deliveries when he first got there. And so I had
that. That was pre-computers. I mean, computers were there, but pre-map, you know.
I got my first computer as '99. I called up a Gateway ad.
Oh, you got the old Gateway deal, yeah, when everyone had a Gateway at one point.
Yeah, they randomly hook you up with some bank. I ended up talking to somebody at some bank in Maryland. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, but I liked the technology. Internet was still going, chat rooms were still a thing, but we still had phones, we still had pagers. Yeah, but not everyone had a cell phone. Like I remember in our band, 2 people had, Teal and somebody else had a cell phone. So each car would have a cell phone. We could talk back and forth.
But it was like...
But not everyone, we weren't glued to the phone. We just used it for communications, like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I liked that. But then our directions to the gig were printed out on MapQuest, so we just go, all right, I
remember
that. Up here.
The days of printing out the directions.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I like that. So we had technology to be useful, but we still were kind of not buried in our phones, balls deep, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it was like...
It was 2000.
If you wanted music on your computer, you had to like put in a CD and like rip it.
Yeah, which sucked, but whatever. Yeah, but
library.
It was still accessible. Yeah, go LimeWire or something.
But no, this was before the LimeWire and all that sort of stuff. But that came along shortly thereafter.
Right, and I like CDs.
The difference between the late 90s and like 2005, 2006 is like a huge jump.
Yeah, I love that era. That's kind of where, like, if I had a time machine, everyone goes, hey, what era would you go back to? I was like, I think I like that. I like that era.
I always thought the 80s, like when we were like growing up. And,
the 88 would be a good one to start again.
I mean, actually, I liked.
People were really dumb and ignorant then.
I thought like 83 through 86 was a lot of fun. That was when everything was new. MTV started to catch on.
That's
It started
true.
to percolate down to everything else. I remember Saturday Night Live doing the first music video parodies.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I remember with Kazurinsky and Gary Kroger and Jim Belushi, they had look at my video,
Right.
you know?
I know. Man, what a wonderful world we live in.
And I've been watching this YouTube channel. They're basically going through like all the Saturday Night Live seasons.
Ooh.
And it's shocking to look back at how late in the 80s it was when it was Martin Short and Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer and Billy Crystal and all those guys on. It was like 87. I always think of it being like 83, 84. Nope.
Yeah.
No,
I know. I didn't watch it then. I was kind of out doing band stuff, so I didn't tune in.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't tune back in until the Tina Fey days, and I had to backtrack on those old eps.
Well, turns out, like, watching it, like, because I think it was, like, after Martin Short and Billy Crystal and Christopher Guest, then they had Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall, and Joan Cusack.
Ah, yeah, I remember those, yeah.
And then they started getting into, like, the newer stuff. They started to get the Kevin Nealon, the Jan Hooks, the Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Or Lovitz, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and the Spade and them.
But it's really interesting. It goes season by season.
That's fun.
It's called.
I'm a big SNL.
I think the YouTube channel is called Saturday Night Network.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Let's check it out.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So they're only up to they're up to season 15 or 16. Wow. I think I saw 15. I think 16 is where they're at now.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So each episode is about a season?
Yeah. And they're hitting on the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, I love
They're
that
talking
shit.
about, when Lauren left, and then it was the Dick Ebersol years, and then they had what's his face, Tinker, and then Tartikoff, and then they had the Gene Domanian years, and then after she left, and then Lauren came back, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, SNL. SNL's an institution. I mean, everyone
is.
goes, I like the last cast. Everyone likes the last cast. They hate the new one. But I like the new one. I think the new one's doing good. They're doing.
I find that
some
Saturday
of the writings
Night
are a little
Lives,
dumb.
They're kind of like wines. Like when they first come out, you're like meh. But then you watch them like a few years later. It's like, oh yeah, I remember all that.
Yes, I know. Like I remember seeing being very kind of confused, like in like the Jan Hooks days, and the Phil Hartman days, which they were more like actors.
Yeah. Yeah,
but you go, wow, they're funny.
Well, the thing was because
but it was weird.
There was like normal TV, like infomercials started around that time and all that sort of stuff. They could do those parts.
Yeah,
they could. It was like they were as good as the people doing everything you saw on TV, like TV shows and soap operas and infomercials and ads. Anything you saw anybody doing on TV, people like Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks could do exactly the same
so good.
on Saturday Night Live for comedic purposes.
And then you see it later on, you go, oh my God, they're so awesome. And I just always like now that I know how it goes down, I've read 1,000,001 books, I've seen I know basically the sitch.
And the Spade Carvey podcasts are great.
Oh yeah. I'm a sucker for the world. So whenever something comes on, I'm absorbing it, and I just daydream about it. Like, even though I'm way too old for that shit, I'd love to try. I'd love to be in that world just for a month. Just do it. There, I burped. But, oh man.
Yeah, but definitely check out that. I think it's the Saturday Night Network or something like that.
Okay.
SNN.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's a YouTube channel. Check it out.
That's a good rec.
Check it out. Yeah, throw it to them. Hey, speaking of YouTube and throwing stuff out and recs and stuff like that, if you're watching this video and you made it to this part, give us a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Because it's super fun. When you subscribe, you're in the secret club that other people aren't.
It's a cool club.
We make fun of them. And then like this video because it really helps us. Because the more you like it, YouTube thinks it's quality programming. And they recommend it to other people. So then there's other people that come in and they become subscribers. But they're behind you in the line of subscribers. So you are superior to them. So subscribe now, so that those other fuckers don't get in front of you.
Right.
But like the video, regardless.
It's like waiting in line at Cedar Point for a ride. Hurry up, get in line, we'll figure it out later.
It's like waiting in line at Caesar's Palace for a Caesar salad.
Yeah, wait in line, everybody.
I didn't get any croutons.
That's good, though. That was a good plug there, Mike.
Oh, yeah, man.
That was good. We got to do ad reads one of these days. Hey,
yeah.
Speaking of which, anyone want to advertise with us, hit us up, man. We'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, we get
ain't
some
getting
viewership.
any younger.
No.
And I'll sell out to the man. I'll do it.
I mean, maybe we should reach out to like, I don't know, Dollar Shave Club or, Blue Chew.
Right. Although, what if it was a bad product? What if somebody goes, hey, Mike, I want you to, my false teeth, you got to do an ad for false teeth, and you.
Look, if it's some local place in town that's making, prosthetic teeth or whatever, I'd kind of want to go over and take a look,
Yeah, just make sure they're not a complete fraud.
Yeah, I find that stuff fascinating.
Yeah.
And if they're doing, and I'm sure they're doing top-notch quality work, man, I'll tell people they're doing
as long as
top-notch
the
quality
product
work.
isn't a fraud or dangerous, it's like, oh, Johnny Asbestos Company wants to run an ad. Mr. Asbestos. Hi, Mr. Asbestos.
The Asbestos Blowers Insulation Company.
Right. Yeah, the guy with 3 eyes wants to do an ad read.
Yeah, you hear things about asbestos, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Frank's lead paint over on 8th Street.
Every time you do I always think of Livia Soprano and Sopranos. Constantly watching Sopranos.
I know, you're hooked.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's a good show.
I kind of sort of burned myself out on it. Now I've been doing, on HBO, they have the Talking Sopranos podcast.
On HBO? HBO has a podcast.
Yeah, man.
So a network has this podcast about a show on a network.
Because it's like the 20th anniversary of it. Because the kids are watching it.
Yeah, I guess
It's
so.
it's like Seinfeld, Friends, Sopranos. Like, it's super popular.
Yeah, it's almost like you could see somebody taking a course in it at a community college. Like, oh, we got a Sopranos course.
Man, if I don't know. If that's what they're doing, man, I ace all that shit.
Yeah. Well, because we're TV super fans.
I told you about like when I was in film school and we this one class it was just basic TV stuff and which is so alien to the younger kids, and we did a thing on programming, scheduling. And the kids are like, I don't know what these are.
Oh,
They're like,
yeah.
I don't know what Santa Barbara is. And I'm like, that's NBC's daytime.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about it. Yeah.
Daytime
I would
soap.
love to program a TV guide.
Their evening soap opera. Yeah, Santa Barbara. Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah, it was hysterical. Like, I was like all over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, on a Saturday they're doing sports. You got to put on something. Put on, Jerry Springer or Robert Mortin.
Mortin Downy Jr.
What was that?
Smoking guy?
Yeah, the smoking guy.
Mortin Downy Jr.
Mortin Downy Jr.
Yeah. And he had big horse teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was angry.
Yeah.
He was the first of those guys.
Dude, he was,
And he
man.
smoked like a son of a bitch.
People don't even know.
Oh, yeah. He was Geraldo before Geraldo.
Oh, yeah. Geraldo was copying Mortin Downy Jr. Mortin Downy Jr. was like the start of trash TV.
Yeah.
He might have done it better than anybody.
And that arguably could be the start of, I don't want to say shock jock radio, but also maybe those programming and those personality types that were just controversial, and like the guy in the alley that's smoking a cigarette that knows better.
The guy in the alley smoking the cigarette.
Yeah. What are you crumb bums doing around here? Put that package in the car.
Wait, do you mean the whole the whole deep throat thing from like 70s?
Well, not that, but
No, not the porn movie. The
the old Watergate guy.
Yeah, the Watergate. Yeah, that's the confidential informant.
Could
thing.
be. Could be.
Because that was definitely a thing when we were kids. I barely understood what the hell was going on with that whole thing.
Honestly, I didn't know Watergate until pretty much all the stuff with DT was happening. That I was like, oh, and then they'd show the guy talking about DT, and oh, that's the guy that was Woodward and Bernstein. There's Woodward. There's Bernstein. And he's old now. You go, that's the kid that was talked to Deep Throat.
Oh, yeah.
To see them in context and still live now, you go, oh, weird. Wow. And then I backtracked on what Nixon and all that was about. And then I go, ooh, yeah, crumb bum. But a lot of haberdashery. I know, do your yard work. Just go back, look at the history books, read it. I don't want to explain it here, no need. But wow, what a story. What a story.
So I was noodling around on Netflix today.
Okay.
Godzilla -1.
Whoa. Godzilla -1. Godzilla stinks, but then you're going to add, what's -1? What is he minusing?
So you don't know anything about this?
I don't know anything about it.
This came out like a year, maybe 2 years ago. From what I've heard, like people talking, like like Mark Bernard and Kevin Smith and stuff like that.
Okay.
On Fat Man Beyond, they're talking. So it's like a Godzilla movie,
Okay.
told from the point of view of like the people.
Okay. All right. I like where they're going. Elevator pitch sounds good.
So it's like
Okay.
it's like Japanese World War II vets
Okay.
that are now trying to defend their homeland against the radioactive monster that is Godzilla.
Okay. All right. You got me. If you're giving me the elevator pitch, all right, I'm in. All right.
So then from what I've heard, it's sort of like a human drama about these people dealing with, it's almost like it could be like as if it were like a hurricane going on or tornadoes or something.
And the questioning thereof.
Yeah.
Would it almost be like Cloverfield or something like that?
Sort
Like a
of.
Japanese Cloverfield?
Yeah, sort of roundabouts in there, but yes, but no, but yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's on Netflix. I almost threw it on to watch it today, but I felt it was going to be like too distracting, and I would just sit there and watch the movie all day and not get shit done. Mm-hmm. And but on Netflix, so it's called Godzilla -1. Then they also have one called Godzilla -1/C. And what they did is they turned it into a black and white movie. So, if you want to watch it in the old school 1954 black and white Godzilla sort of vein, you have the option. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that Werewolf by Night that they did on Disney Plus a couple years ago.
All right. That brings me to a rant I was going to say. Mike, what are we... Okay, keep going.
No, that Werewolf by Night, it was some Marvel thing.
Yes. And they made it look all noir.
Well, they released it in black and white.
Yeah, it was noir.
And then the next year, they released the color version.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was directed by Michael Giacchino, the composer.
They have there's a new one. There's a new werewolf movie coming out. I saw a trailer for it.
And hopefully they're still letting Michael Giacchino do the thing.
Because that was my rant.
Dope. He's a self-made composer, and now they're giving him the keys to be a director. I love it.
I got a new rant, Mike.
I love Giacchino.
All these... They did zombies. We've seen a million Nosferatus and vampires. We've seen the mummies. We've seen Invisible Man. Nobody can get... excuse me. Nobody can get the Wolfman right. The werewolf. The lycanthrope. I mean, I almost have PTSD from First Blood when it's the shirtless kids. Or no, it's Joe Manganiello and his buddies, drinking bikers with no shirts on. And then you got the old... and then you got the shirtless version of the kids in the vampire movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, stop with you're ruining the lycanthrope. You're ruining the whole franchise of possibilities of a werewolf. And I like the idea of a werewolf, but nobody's done the werewolf transformation good. No one's done the character good or the movie good.
Well, they have, but in the 80s.
Oh, what, Michael Jackson?
No, there were two good transformations. There was
American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London, and then The Howling.
Wolfen.
Oh, is it Wolfen? No, it's The Howling.
The Howling, yeah.
Howling.
They're both around the same time.
Yeah, because it was who was it like? Was it Tom Savini had he was all set up to do The Howling, and then they stole him to do American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
And then The Howling brought in Rob Bottin, who in like 2 or 3 days came up with a whole rig to do the Howling transformation scene.
But
Wait, what was that? You're like, no, boy.
Yeah. Well, American Werewolf in London was a little bit... That was better because that was a little more...
Dude, the Howling transformation scene is fucking dope. And Rob Bottin's fucking goddamn
All right,
genius.
I'll have to rewatch that. I don't remember it being good.
Rob Bottin's the guy that did The Thing. If you haven't seen the behind the scenes, like
been a while.
The making of documentary of The Thing, go watch that because Rob Bottin tells some fucking hysterical goddamn stories.
Werewolves. But let's see, okay, as a filmmaker, every young filmmaker goes, I want to do a werewolf transformation thing.
Nobody does.
Well, you'd think you'd want to. You know, somebody, and they're
You know
always
what?
the same. The old, oh, the hands are going to grow. Oh, the eyes. Here comes the hair.
But that's the thing. That's the shit that... Rick Baker. Rick Baker did American Werewolf in London Transformation. And he's the one that did Thriller as well. They were practical effects. And once things started to go computer digital, nobody's doing those sort of practical effects anymore.
Yeah.
And so... And honestly, the attempts at werewolfery, like, what was the one with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer?
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. And then they did, like, a Wolfman remake with, what's his name? And Anthony Hopkins. Who's the dude? Benicio del Toro?
Yeah.
Both of them were fucking terrible. Terrible movies.
And then let's not even, like I said, don't even mention the Twilight or the First Blood werewolves.
Wait, First Blood.
HBO, or not First Blood.
Oh, True Blood. Oh,
True Blood.
Did they have werewolves in there?
The last 3 seasons, and they were shirtless Joe Manganiellos.
Okay, and also don't forget, same thing. Underworld.
Oh, Underworld had, okay, theirs weren't so bad. Okay.
Were they? I never watched any of those.
They're kind of jackally. They're kind of like jackally people. That's kind of, all right, they were getting there. They're getting there. That's not too bad. But
I actually have 1 or 2 of those on DVD. I don't think I ever watched them.
yeah, they're not too bad. I mean, but I don't know. No one's really nailed the werewolf. Like
No, you're right. You're right.
It's
because
due for kind of like Walking Dead did with the zombie.
well, the thing that I liked
werewolf
about like
needs
the
it.
old werewolf movie, like the old Lon Chaney one, is like sort of the tone of it, right? It's a regular guy who's got this sort of affliction. He's trying to keep secret and stuff like that. And in that movie, I think that's the one, if I'm remembering correctly. He's like over in Europe somewhere. He's trying to track down any information about this affliction that he has.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's working his way into like Romania and talking to like, you know, the people on the outskirts of town and this and that. And once again, almost like that was the whole thing about those old 30s horror movies, is you got this sort of sense of adventure. Like you felt like you were like, you know, somewhere over in old Europe in Dracula's castle. Or in The Mummy, you're in, like, it was part travel log for, like, Egypt. Like, most people had never seen Egypt or whatever.
Or like, even in The Walking Dead, even though they kept with Night of the Living Dead, slow lumbering zombies, and wanting to eat you.
Romero zombies.
And have to kill them through the brain, they added to it, too. You know, which, everybody turns, and, you know, when they die, and da-da-da, they added a little bit more to it, just to make the zombie like more plausible, you know, and there's been 1,001 vampire things. We all know those. Those are always okay, but
also don't forget, back in the 80s, there were a bunch of zombie movies that were building on the Romero zombie archetype.
Sure, yeah.
Because I remember at one point, like 83 or 84, there were like 3 different movies out all at the same time, because they all came on HBO at the same time.
Yeah.
And one was like, the zombies are from some government experiment. One of them, the zombies were from something from outer space. One of them, the zombies were from some sort of chemical some company developed.
Right.
Or the mad scientist in the lab, which is more like those Jeffrey Combs ones, like Reanimator and stuff like that.
So come on, people.
Yeah.
Now there's a new one out. Which
The
I saw
Nosferatu?
No. I'm talking werewolf. So let's get on with the werewolf.
I just want to say, with the Nosferatu, it's the Robert Eggers guy who did The Witch, The Northman. You know,
Yeah.
He's
Does look good.
yeah.
The reviews
and The
are
Lighthouse.
coming
He
in.
did The Lighthouse as well.
The reviews are coming in. They're saying, okay.
I mean, the story is, it's Dracula. Nosferatu was always a knockoff of Bram Stoker's Dracula. They just changed the names.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay. All right, it is what it is.
But there's always vampires, because they just had, like I was just talking a couple of months ago, Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's the story about the ship that brought Vampire's coffin over to England.
Which that's a great idea. Now there's the elevator pitch
Did you watch
on
that one?
No.
Oh, the production design's so
That's what
good.
I hear. And
great.
that's just one where you even say the elevator pitch of bringing him over on a slave ship, you know, is like, wow.
It's not a slave ship.
Oh, it's not a slave ship?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's just a ship that was over in
an
Romania.
old-timey ship.
And they booked it to carry 50 crates of dirt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's a great take. That's a new take on it. I like it. Okay.
It's kind of like The Thing, where it's like, there's only, there's just a ship, and there's like 11 people on it.
Yeah.
Then shit starts getting weird, and then there's only so many places to look, so.
Perfect. I know.
But the movie's really well done. It's fucking creepy, man. It's cool. It's a good watch.
Yeah, and you can't do much with... Okay, now here's another thing, which has ruined the wolf lycanthrope idea.
Yeah, the whole
All the
wolf thing.
corny ones, things that have happened through the years. I mean, anything from the Michael Jackson video on down to the Shaggy DA. Humans turning into a dog, or humans, everyone's tried to merge those worlds, but there's never the connective tissue.
Wow, actually, I never really thought about things like Shaggy DA connected to sort of like werewolfy stuff, but
it's kind of like that.
I mean, I guess right there in the middle, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, okay, yeah, Teen Wolf, Shaggy DA, they're around the same time.
No, Shaggy DA was like Fred McMurray, like 58 or something.
60, right. He was a district
62.
attorney.
Yeah. Although there was a Tim Allen
district
remake.
attorney turned into a dog. Boy, what an elevator pitch on that one.
They did the Tim Allen remake.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
I love that shit.
Yeah, no,
so
but
terrible.
But you're right. The werewolf gets underserved because people try to lean into it too much, and they try to make it a big thing. The whole thing that made that old werewolf movie work is it was a small thing.
Yeah.
It was a personal thing. It was one guy.
Yeah.
It was the what's his fucking name? What was his character's name?
I forget.
It was a launch. Yeah. I forget the name. But it was the one character. He was suffering with the affliction. Every 28 days he's gonna like snap out and kill somebody.
Which I like that because that's a better take on it. But to turn into a dog is kind of dumb. Or to hunt in packs like they did in True Blood. It's like,
is that what they did?
Yeah, they were all beer drinking bikers, and then when the bikers were done drinking beer at the end of the night, they'd all rip their shirts off and run in the woods.
Yikes.
Yeah, they had a little bit of homoeroticism in there.
A little?
Yeah. And then you mix that with, I know. True Blood took it away. True Blood stunk.
Yeah, True Blood was
I hung in there to the last episode. I did it. Thank you. I did it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I kind of had to stick with it. But boy, it was hard. It was an endurance test. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last season was like, woof.
Yeah, no, I never watched it.
Yeah.
I was aware of it and what was going on with it, but...
It started cool. Yeah, the first couple seasons, okay, but more ridiculous. And they just kept adding to the stew and kept adding and adding and adding.
I was sort of more in the Anne Rice vein of the vampires, where, because they were vampires and they were like dead, reanimated corpses, they actually weren't having sex in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, okay, yeah, like they want to repair their earthly bodies, kind of like they're falling apart and decaying.
No. Just that they just in her books they didn't have sex. They'd fall in love and have romantic relationships or whatever, but they didn't really have sex.
That's good.
I guess she just didn't want to write sex scenes or something.
Maybe, yeah.
So yeah, her vampires are all sort of like asexual. They fall in love with each other and stuff like that, but...
Which makes sense, okay.
But
They've got to like their kind, and then they live forever, so therefore...
And so therefore, no vampire babies, which I think they did in True Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
Oh, yeah,
Vampire
and half-and-halfers, the half-and-halfers, and then the blood of them is going to help... Yeah.
That's why I didn't watch it, because they just lost me on that. I was just like, this is just silly now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that far from the, what's-her-face with the Twilight? Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah. Oh, stupid. Silly.
So.
Yeah. So there's that. There's my rant, the werewolf rant. But we'll see how this new movie goes. I'm hoping that I have high hopes for it because the trailer looks good.
Wait, what's the new one?
I don't know what it's called. Wolf. I don't know. But you look it up. Just say 2024.
Is it like another swipe at like Wolfman or?
Yeah, it almost looked like a lady and her husband and a kid, and the husband has this thing. Now, playing the wife was, what's her name from Ozark? The blonde girl from Ozark.
Laura Linney.
No, not Laura Linney, but who played the young girl? She won an Oscar. She got the tight curly hair, blonde. Well.
That curly hair blonde one.
Yeah,
Oscar?
you didn't watch Ozark, so you wouldn't know.
I didn't watch
If you
Ozark.
watch Ozark, you'd be screaming at the phone right now. Yeah. But,
It's not Marissa Ribisi.
yeah. She played that Anna, what's her name, in that one Netflix thing. She played the scammer lady. Ah, God.
I don't know. Was she in Dazed and Confused?
Oh, that I don't know.
You remember that movie?
Well, I remember Dazed and Confused, but it's been so long since I've seen it. Oh, well.
She's Vonnie Ribisi's sister.
Yeah, well, you'll just give it a go. Then you'll figure it out. It's not a hard. It's not a hard one. Not a hard one. How are we doing on time? Okay, we got to get to the list.
All right, before we get to the list, we're going to do a quick ham it, ban it, or damn it.
Oh, lay it on me, Slim.
Wait, ham it, damn it, or ban it.
All right, what do we got?
Just one I want to throw at you real quick. I was watching Red Letter Media. They were talking about the Nosferatu.
Okay.
And the guy was talking in there. He goes, you know what they should do? You know they used to have smoking and non-smoking cinemas? They should have eating and not eating cinemas. So ham it, ban it, ham it, damn it, or ban it. Eating in theaters.
We talking snacks, or we talking full on like get a burger and fries?
Eating in theaters. Because the one guy, Mike, on Red Letter Media, his whole thing was he just wants to go watch a fucking movie. He doesn't want to hear rappers. He doesn't want to smell people's food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. No, I agree. I say ban it. Ban the eating in the thing. No one needs a bucket of popcorn. Nobody needs to be spilling M&Ms down the aisle. It always happens, and there's always.
I agree, because I've gone to movies.
Yeah.
Where it's a cinephile audience, if you will, and everybody goes in and nobody fucking talks, nobody's making fucking noise, and we all get up and fucking leave quietly.
Yeah. Now,
like sort of art movies, because out there in Arizona, you can go to like these smaller theaters and.
Yeah. Now, there's the kind. Yeah, I've been to a couple in North Carolina where you go, okay, we're gonna watch Ghostbusters 2, and we're gonna order a beer and a burger. And you have these little trays that fold over.
Right, and those are the big megaplexes, and we've gone to the ones where it's actually like a brewery or whatever. Those sort of things too.
Those are fine because you know what you're going to. But for a standard, I'll pay extra.
You know what you're going to
not eat.
Yeah, because if I'm in a movie theater, I just want to watch the fucking movie. You know?
Like a standard Tinseltown.
If I'm in like what's the thing with the movies and the food or whatever? What do they call those? The Alamo Draft House.
Oh, okay.
If you go to an Alamo Draft House and they're running like weird science and you're ordering burgers and fries and shit like that and drinking beers, it's a good time. You know what you're in for.
Right. But if I'm there for Nosferatu, I don't need a guy 5 seats down spilling his fucking popcorn all over.
Yeah.
Ban it. But I know that's how they make their money.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
I will pay an extra $2, $3. How about a no eating section? What if you had it split in half?
That's what the dude Jay, I think, on Red Letter Media was saying. No, because then you got the smells and the sounds drifting, like different theaters. Like you could have the big theater for all the people with the popcorn. Do a smaller showing. Like you know what they do at the theaters out in Arizona? I don't know if they do it here, but they were doing shows for autistic kids.
Oh, okay.
They were doing where they would leave the lights kind of on and the movie's a little bit quieter, and if you talk, it's fine.
Okay.
And it's like,
I see it.
And it's like if you're not in for that, don't go to that show.
Okay.
But if you got like an autistic kid or whatever, like it's more manageable for them.
No, that's a good idea.
They get freaked out in the dark. It's too fucking loud. It's vibrating shit. It just makes them nuts and stuff.
It is, understandable. I would say yes. I'm up for that, and I'm definitely up for the ban it. I say ban it.
But I think ultimately, it comes down to like, and Kevin Smith is always talking about this because he owns a movie theater now. He is a movie exhibitor now. They don't make the money on the movie. They make the money on the popcorn and shit. He actually said that he gets better returns if he has current movies. Like he said they lost their shirt with Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Oh.
But they run like, weird science or shit from the 80s or stuff like that. Packed house.
Oh.
So he's like, I can get those movies for next to nothing. He's like, I can get a copy of those for $27. Yeah. I can run, 7 showings over the weekend. Sell a bunch of fucking popcorn and shit. He's like, you can come to my theater, buy a ticket to watch one movie, you can jump from theater to theater and watch different movies all day long. He's like, I don't care. I used to do it when I was a kid. Just buy snacks.
Makes sense.
He said that's where he makes the money. Because he's like, once he's like rented the print of the film, his costs are already done.
Yeah.
He's got the rights to show it like up to 10 times or whatever.
All right, I see it.
So he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's interesting.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
But yeah, I see as an owner, yeah, you want the food. But as a
That's
patron,
where they make their markups.
and I guess it depends on the food. If I'm watching Barbie, I think, okay, give me some juju fruits and some popcorn. But if I'm watching something
Sure.
serious like Oppenheimer, stop crinkling. I don't be
Yeah,
eating
you're
juju
right.
fruits while I'm watching, something serious.
What about, we went to see Napoleon a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, on Thanksgiving.
So is Napoleon a snacking movie or not?
Not. That's a non-snacker.
I agree. It's a historical movie. It's not there for the Transformers crowd.
No. So the lighter the heart, lightheartedness of it, the more you can eat. The
Right.
serious,
If it's a romantic comedy, snack away.
yeah, the serious one, if Schindler's List, don't be breaking out the juju fruits.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And don't be bringing in nachos either. For Schindler's List. You're kind of a monster at that point.
Yeah.
Will you be munching while they're fucking baking in the oven? Come on.
All right, we got our list here. I gotta put on my readers for this.
I got something else I could throw out, but it'll just divert.
Really?
Well, I mean, oh, hey, you got some new glasses.
Yeah, I got the readers. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Working out. Yeah.
Yeah, it really magnifies your eyes.
Yeah. It brings out the color in my eyes. I don't like it.
Those are pretty good. I like those.
Oh, wait. What did I do with my list? That's the wrong list. I can't read with my glasses. All right. Wait, hold on. Let me sit up. I got it in my pocket. Look at this. Right next to the list that says cat food and Ziplocs and keto bread, windshield wiper fluid.
Man, yeah, you always need that.
Yeah, I need some windshield wiper fluid. All right. Here we go.
All right, so we need to bookend this a little bit better. So this is our top 5, bottom 5.
Top 5, bottom 5. We'll go a little quicker today.
And then when we're done, we need to say that was top 5, bottom 5. We'll wrap it up.
There we go. Here we go. Best, worst 80s game shows.
Okay, so
Wait, but I'm omitting from this Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune because
those are evening.
it's a given.
those are
Jeopardy
evening
is a given, and Wheel of Fortune is a given.
those are-
Everything else we'll talk about.
Those are the evening ones. Game shows are supposed to be fucking daytime, especially mornings.
Yeah.
Game shows in the mornings up till noon, then soap operas.
Yeah. So this is what we were watching.
Natural order we grew up with.
Sometimes they'd be on, after dinner, the 6 o'clockers. Sometimes there'd be a
What?
few on. Game
Who?
shows.
No, that's Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. Those are the evening ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember what. Well, this number 5 on the best list, I think was was more of a
Well,
4 o'clocker.
so everybody understands the concept of reruns, right? There's first run network television and there's fucking reruns, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about it. In
So when
rerun
it's
sense.
in reruns, that package of shows is sold into individual local markets, and they can run it whenever the
Syndication.
fuck they want. They could run it at 5 p.m. They could run it at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah. Well, the game shows. Now in the 80s, no, you want best or worst? We always like to do the best first, huh?
Yeah, because worse is just like I can rattle off probably 5 of the best ones right off the bat.
Right. So some of these will make that.
But I have your criteria may be different. Shit that I liked, you may fucking hate.
Same, vice versa. So we'll see. All right. Well, number 5.
All right, now wait a second. Now, you said 80s on this, but
80s.
a lot of these are holdovers from 60s and 70s.
Sure. This
The-
might be the second run of them. Like,
But-
we'll get into that.
But
Like,
in
so-
the 80s, it kind of got to an apex.
Yeah. There's some duds. So, okay, number 5 best. I like this one. The Joker's Wild. We like the Joker's Wild.
Yeah, Joker's Wild. I used to be able to tolerate. I would throw that one on. Yeah, and that was once again one of those ones that was sold into syndication. Sometimes it would be in
And
the
it was cool.
evenings.
The 3 things would come up. The 3 subjects they'd go like arts and entertainment, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. 3 categories, and then the trivia question. How many da da da? And then they'd have to answer for $50.
Who was the host on that one?
I don't know who's the host.
I want to say Wink Martindale.
I don't know if it was a Wink Martindale on Joker's Wild. No, I think it was more B Circuit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I can picture the guy's face. I just don't know his name.
Yeah, not Bob Eubanks. Was it?
No. He had glasses.
Yeah. No, not Ray Combs.
No, definitely not. That was much later.
Well, okay, let's go down.
Okay, yeah. So Joker's Wild.
Joker's Wild, solid show.
That's solid.
Number 4. How about Let's Make a Deal? I like Let's Make a Deal.
Let's Make a Deal is a classic from like the
and the reason
50s
why I like that
through the 60s.
You had an entertaining crowd who dressed up.
Right.
Contestants are fun. You got to have fun contestants.
Yeah.
Good criteria. And big win, like, oh, he won a jet ski and a boat and a washer and dryer. But then the big loss. Oh, you picked door number 3. Here's your year's supply of turtle wax.
Here's what you could have won: the jet skis and the trip to Tahiti.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had big wins and big losses. So big highs, big lows. Interesting contestants.
Yeah.
Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah.
Always solid. Now here's the fun, quickest one. We all know this one. We liked it. Still around to this day. Family Feud. Got to go with Family Feud.
Family
right?
Feud is a classic. Classic.
Well, here's where it got bad though. It could make the bad list too, if you look at it this way. We all know that Richard Dawson was fucking creepy. Richard Dawson had to kiss every female on there.
Well, the thing is, it was the 70s, and technically, he started off on the Match Game, which is I love Match Game, and so then he took his sort of 70s swinger smarminess over there to
Family Feud.
Family Feud.
But he would make grandma. He'd be like, "Come here." He'd grab grandma by the chin and kiss him, and then the daughter he'd kiss. You know, it's like he's kissing every female on the lips.
Yeah, that was.
He would be like, "Come
that
here."
was his thing. That's why, like,
It was creepy.
I used him as a template when I wrote that game show play.
Oh gosh,
I had like his character. It was like a European guy who's sort of like suave like that. Like,
he was only on till '85. So after that, then Ray Combs was the.
No, but I remember that shit when I was a kid. Like
Yes,
5
young.
years old.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, why is he kissing grandma? And then with the same lips, he's going to turn around and kiss fucking mom? That's weird. And that dad doesn't say anything about this?
I think there were a couple times he tried to slip the tongue.
I don't know if it's a Mandela effect. In the early 70s, was he smoking too? Was there an ashtray around there? Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just falsely thinking
Family
of that.
Feud, but on the older game shows in the 60s,
Oh,
they
yeah.
definitely did.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Maybe like early 70s, like 70s.
By the time we get to the 90s, though, Louis Anderson kind of made up for it. He kind of started doing it in the early 90s.
Oh, was he doing Family Feud?
Yeah, he did a couple years.
Oh, that's right.
He was fun, but he didn't last too long.
They did the Ray Combs, and then
Then I think it went into
Louis Anderson.
and
then Steve Harvey's been doing it for like
Harvey's
20 years.
been there forever. But.
Yeah.
So number 3, Family Feud. We all like it. It's fun and quick. Number 2, best. Oh, this one's going to bring back the memories. Star power on this one. MTV, Remote Control.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun show.
Fun show. First appearance of Adam Sandler. There we had Ken Ober, rest in peace. We also had Colin Quinn, the great
Quinn.
Kari Wurr. We all loved Kari Wurr.
Yeah, Kari Wurr was pretty hot,
That
yeah.
was our dream girl back then. But yes, and I think that was the first game show, not only was it quick pacing, but it had fun, comedic skits.
Yeah.
The Adam Sandler bits were funny. You know, I mean, I don't know if, well, I guess they could do it nowadays. I'm probably sure somebody's tried it, maybe.
But it was all pop culture. It was all current pop culture stuff.
Yes, and trivia and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And it had good pick. I remember being quick,
Yeah,
but also
it was-
being silly and madcap.
It was real quick. That was the whole point of the show was it was remote control because back in the day when we had the remote control for the TV, we would be watching 2 or 3 shows at the same time and flip back and forth between them.
Yeah.
That's why if you watch any shows from back then, like talk shows like Carson or Letterman, you know, or like Gary Shandling's show when he was doing, what was the one, not the Gary Shandling show, but when he was doing the talk show spoof? What the hell was that one? Larry Sanders?
Larry Sanders.
His catchphrase was when he went into commercial, no flipping. Like that was literally the thing that we would do. They'd be like, oh, we're going to commercial, we'll be right back after this. Flip over. Like we were just, and so that was the whole point of remote control. They wanted to get the game in before you got bored enough to fucking flip away.
Yeah. Which is great. And it's
They kept it
underrated.
moving.
And like you said, if you watch old reruns of it now, it still holds up. It's still
Does it?
fun. Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it forever.
Young Adam Sandler's hilarious, but also Colin Quinn, chain-smoking, grumpy, angry Colin Quinn.
Yeah, it was funny. They would just cut to him, and he would just sort of drop the hammer. That was kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, that was good. And, of course...
Yeah, remote control was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're good with number 2 on that one. Of course, I had to do this one, number 1, Price is Right. Come on.
Yeah, I loved Price is Right when I was a kid.
Because I give it the A+ for consistency. It was always on.
Yeah. Every day.
I don't remember repeats.
Every day.
I don't remember reruns.
No, they didn't. 5 days a week they did it.
It lasted an hour.
Yeah.
Every game that the contestants, fun contestants,
Yeah.
you had different games they played. So
So
you'd have
many
a variety.
games. So many games.
Yes.
Like, there were games that I loved that were favorites of mine that wouldn't show up for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah.
Yeah, you go from Plinko to the Swiss
I
guy
always
going
remember
up the
that
hill.
one with the little Swiss guy going up the mountain. I always remember that one. That one was like, oh shit, he's gonna go too far. You know.
I like Plinko too. I get excited.
Yeah,
when
Plinko was definitely solid.
Yeah, so yeah, pound for
It's like,
pound.
why are you starting it in the middle on Plinko?
And contestants were always funny with trying to guess closest, in the beginning, and the showcase showdown at the end.
Yeah, the showcase showdown at the end. Dude, the best was when the person got within, like, what was it? Like within
$100 of
yeah,
the
within
game?
$100, he won both.
Oh, yeah, shit went madcap.
That was the best.
Yeah, so pound for pound, you got to admit, I think that's probably the greatest
Yeah,
game
you're
show
right.
in all history because of the variety and the pacing and the formula. Still is. Drew Carey's on it now, and it's still pretty much the exact same as it was in 1974.
It is, and I'll tell you what. From doing that game show play that I wrote, which was sort of based on Match Game, some of these games are so inherently replayable. Because Match Game, because when we did it, we would sit down and have writing sessions, and after like an hour, you sort of get into the mindset where you could actually write those cards.
Yeah.
And like your brain starts flowing, and we would just fucking write them down, just spit them out. And those cards, it's a fill in the blank situation.
Yeah.
So it's not like trivia where once you know the answer, you know the answer. The whole point of the game is somebody gives a wacky answer, and then does any of these 6 panelists give the same answer that matches it?
Well, yeah.
So it's all fill in the blank sort of shit. Anyway, I think the replayability.
The wacky answer, though, sometimes it's forced, like they did on Hollywood Squares.
Well, no, actually, that's what we found out doing the game show play is. If you try to give a funny answer, a wacky answer, you're not going to match anybody. You're going to lose.
Yes.
You want to win the game and be strategic, you give a straight up the middle of the road answer.
Yes.
An answer that, like the Family Feud, 75% of respondents, you want to hit 75% of respondents with your answer. Don't try and get cute. Don't try and get creative.
You hear that?
Because the panel ain't gonna match it.
If you're ever on.
But the replayability of these games, and like you said, the Price is Right with so many different like mini games and stuff.
And the pacing was great.
Infinitely watchable.
Yes. And it was I love the consistency of what it was. So you had 102-degree temperature, you're missing school.
Oh, when you're sick with
laying
your
there,
kid?
yeah,
Yeah.
you're laying on the couch watching it. All right.
Dude, you suffer through a Three's Company repeat, you watch Alice, R.I.P. Lynn 11 a couple weeks ago, and then Price is Right comes on, and it's like, ba, dun, 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 and the music, and you're like, fuck yes!
Yes. I'm like, all right, I'll get lunch after this. This is 11 o'clock. It's time for a family. Yeah. Or, time for the Price is Right. Let's do it.
Yeah, they're like, Pamela Brown, and they're like, oh, and jump up and run into
Oh,
it's
yeah,
great.
it had everything. Had all the elements. All the boxes got checked on that one.
Yeah,
Still to
that's a
this
solid
day,
one.
probably the best. I
Yeah.
got an honorable mention for the best. I have a personal soft spot for this one. Not a lot of people liked it. I even got made fun of for liking it. I like the supermarket sweep.
I remember when
I
remember when you and I were watching Supermarket Sweep when it came out, and it was like, there's something about this, And
I love it.
It was when it first started. It was because like we knew the prices of shit at the grocery store, so we at home watching it could be like, oh, that's not $1.70, that's $1.29.
Well, but then you'd have to do a little math because you go, ooh, are these California prices? Are we going California prices? So a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese to us would be $1.25. To them, it's $1.80. So you go, all right, it's $1.80 to them. All right. So there's a little,
Yeah.
And you always daydreamed about, boy, I wonder what it's like to have those carts at the end, going through and throwing turkeys in there.
All right, let me throw out an honorable mention too.
All right.
I always like this game show. I don't think it'll be on your worst list, but if it is, let me know.
All right.
the dollar amount always changed every couple of years. $20,000 pyramid.
Well, it didn't make the list because it almost got close. By 20. Okay, here's the $20,000 pyramid.
$25,000, $100,000.
That was my point. 10,000 started off as 10,000, then 20,000, then 25.
10,000, yeah.
Yeah, and that was Dick Clark, right?
Yeah, but there was always something I enjoyed about the gameplay. When they're just throwing out things and like Clifford the big dog, an apple, a fire, and they're like things that are red,
Right.
I always loved that. I don't know why when I was a kid, I thought that was the funnest goddamn thing.
My parents liked it, so I always thought this was the game show my parents liked. But the one when they'd say things that are red, I'd be like, oh, stop it. This is fixed. This is rigged. Like, even when I was a little kid, I was thinking shenanigans on it. Like, when they're all going, things that a werewolf does. And you go, oh, things that a werewolf, come on, drool.
Yeah,
you got things that a werewolf does off drool.
But that was sort of funny. It was like things that smell like a lemon. Really?
Yeah.
But I like that also that they matched up like a celebrity with like a regular person.
I do like that. I like the celebrity and real person interaction. That was fun. And I do like the triangle. The visual triangle is kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
with the different going up the thing.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't make the worst list.
Okay, all right.
But it was close.
Cool. Because it's not bad. It never got really big, but I always sort of liked the gameplay on that one. That was fun.
Okay, we're going to go to the worst now.
All right, the worst list of the old style game shows that sort of peaked in the 80s.
Yeah, this could have made some people like this one. I hated it, and I'll tell you why. Press your luck.
With the no whammies.
Doodly, the whammies.
Yeah.
And the reason being is it seemed rigged to me.
It is. You know what
totally.
it is? It's a what's the fucking gambling thing with the wheel? The roulette. It's like an electronic roulette wheel.
It seems like, and when they stopped, sometimes it stopped when they wanted to. They go, no whammies, stop. And it wasn't in sync.
No,
it was rigged.
No, it's like when they hit stop, there's somebody in the back trying to sync with them, hitting their button.
Yeah, you mix that with just the poor low quality, and then the contestants always seemed a little dumb, and they just seemed like 70s tourists.
Seriously, like they just picked them up at a laundromat.
Oh yeah. I hate Pressure Luck. Okay, here's number 4.
Yeah, Pressure Luck is sort of small.
I had Pyramid there, but I scratched it off to put this one there. Didn't like it. Password.
I knew you were going to throw a password in there.
I didn't like it.
Password is an old one from the late 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Betty White's husband.
That's right.
Alan White, I believe was his name.
Right.
He had, so they used to host parties, and they'd play Password and shit. And it was really fun. So they started doing the game show of Password.
I think here was my problem with it. If they would just play the game as if I could guess with them, but they would ruin it by going, the password is lycanthrope.
I agree. I agree.
There's my fun's ruined. I want to guess with the person, but you just whispered onto the TV, the password is werewolf.
Yeah, I mean, that aspect of it, it was like it was designed for morons.
You're right.
It's like
you're dumbing me down.
It's like
now I can't guess.
It's like a fucking word search.
Yeah, and
no
now,
offense to you word search fans if you like word searches, but it's not a crossword puzzle.
Well, but the whole point was like, you want to play along with the person on the screen.
Exactly.
And if you give me the answer, now I'm just rooting for the person trying to
now
guess it.
Now you're just waiting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to guess it.
It'd be like if Wheel of Fortune showed you what was behind the turned letters.
Yeah, and I'm just watching people figure it out.
And you're sitting there going, it's an F! It's an F!
Yeah, that's why I didn't like Password.
No, you're right. But because it came out of like late 50s, 60s, back when people were dumb on TV and
the 70s dumb.
Things like What's My Line? You're not going to say What's My Line, are you?
Well, here's the one that came through it's close to that. Win, lose, or draw. Remember that one?
Dude, you and I with the drawing games, we love those, but
that's no Pictionary. This was no win, lose, or draw.
Now, that was the one with Bert Convy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What now? That might answer your question. Was it Bert Convy? Was he the original Joker Wild guy?
No. Actually, he may have been.
Give it a goog. We have to goog it up.
He may have been.
Yeah,
'Cause
win, lose, or
then-
draw sucked. I forget what it's like, but I remember thinking, the drawing section sucks. There's nothing here. The pacing is terrible. We're cutting the commercial. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's laughing at things that aren't funny. And
Yeah,
it just wasn't working.
It was almost like a sort of Pictionary charade sort of thing.
Right. But it never really took off.
No.
Yeah, it was kind of Pictionary, but not. They couldn't really.
Because it was with the drawing at the board, right? 3 people on a team.
Yeah, and that was another one where sometimes did they show at the thing, like if he's drawn, say, a teddy bear, would they put the word teddy bear so we knew what he was drawing?
Yeah.
Once again, giving it away. I couldn't guess with them because I'm waiting for him to draw a teddy bear, and I already know it's a teddy bear.
No, and you end up just watching him going, fucking put a nose on it. Put fucking ears on it.
Right.
Those look like rabbit ears. What are you doing?
That's no teddy bear.
Yeah.
So
Whereas if they didn't tell you, you could sort of have the fun of trying to. Actually, on that one, they wouldn't say it audibly. They would just put it up on screen. I would literally put my hand up and block the bottom of the screen.
I never thought of doing
so I
that.
couldn't play along.
So number 2, so win, lose, or draw stinks. Number 2 is going to be, this was the old one. Name That Tune was horrible.
Name That Tune was horrible.
Because not only would they be old-timey songs we didn't know, it'd be like some B-side Bing Crosby song.
That's right.
Or some weird Dixieland song.
Yeah, it was some Dixieland song from the 20s.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, that's Bye Bye Birdie. And you'd be like, I don't know Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, everybody knows Bye Bye Birdie.
But yeah, it was horrible. But here's where, now, you were saying the match game. I put it as number 1 is a whole list of them. And they gotta go probably because of Chuck Woolery. I fucking hate Chuck Woolery. Love Connection and the dating game. He was the host of both of them.
I agree.
I hated the dating games. I hated those.
I agree.
I almost threw Newlywed Game in this, but
yeah.
but Newlywed Game was a little different because they are already couples.
Yeah, but
And Bob Eubanks is all right.
it's super uninteresting.
It is.
Just questions and games about
Yeah,
the
and
people.
what would you do on a first date if you went golfing? And you go,
Oh, I would hold her hand and tell her that she's the one.
it'd be like all these, these 70s answers for dating game, and who are you going to choose,
Yeah.
Stink.
Yeah,
Dating
those are
games,
all-
horrible,
those are
horrible,
all
horrible.
terrible. Yeah, you're right. All those.
I got some honorable horribles. Real quick, Hollywood Squares I think sucked. Now, I liked it. I liked who was on there. I liked the idea, and I hear they're revamping it.
Right.
But here's the thing, the forced joke. On a trivia question that is so benign, they'd be like, "Oh, who invented the wheel?"
You know what? To me, Hollywood Squares always seemed like the watered down, safe version of Match Game. Instead of 6 panelists, you got 9 panelists. And essentially it's tic-tac-toe, which is the dumbest gameplay.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's all very safe. It's all very middle of the road. It's all schmaltzy jokes with no teeth.
You're right.
Whereas the old Match Game in the 70s, they were fucking hammered.
Yeah, they were drunk.
They were doing inappropriate shit, man. And that was the whole point of the game show play that I wrote,
Yeah, so that Hollywood Squares I think stinks.
Yeah, Hollywood Squares does kind of stink.
And there's a couple that went in there. Short-lived Beat the Clock. You remember that one? That sucked.
Sort of.
Shark.
I remember Beat the Clock, yeah.
Card Sharks
I remember
was
Card
terrible.
Shark with the giant cards.
Yeah, and they'd stack them on the line and they'd put them back.
That was Wink Martindale.
Yeah, Card Shark stunk. Tic-tac-toe.
Oh, Tic-Tac-Toe. What the hell was that one? I remember the name and stuff, but I can't.
Yeah. I just remember going, oh, this stinks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are those old 70s ones.
Yeah. Yeah, those were some fucking terrible ones. All right. That was good. That was a good list.
All right, game shows.
Yeah, game shows, fucking garbage.
What
Okay,
were- say
so
at the end?
hit like, hit subscribe, join the cool club, because those other people that don't hit subscribe.
Yeah, and you might join the community. You could give us your list.
I don't want to say anything bad about them, but all right, you guys that are fucking subscribed, cool kids.
All right, we're out.
Like it so more people see it.